A more advanced practice after awareness and attention have returned to normal, especially in places and locations where there's neighbors who hit walls and whisper and use their voice to distract those who they don't like and declare as freaks. And what's helpful about Joe Rogan versus a mathematical equation has to do with a freak party. For those who call humans names and use their hands to fake stab them to death and swat them with the Seattle Police Department and say to the Seattle Fire Department they want to commit suicide. In other words, the observer who never rests and sleeps, who residents in a building with apartments and studios rarely have a conversation with on a roof with a view worth thousands of dollars of rent, of a Space Needle in downtown. They no doubt supported in a destructive riot and protest about their needs to have dominance now. After awareness practice and later attention practice, there's concentration, focus, practice. Tibetan monks and lamas and tukus, Tukula and His Holiness the Dalai Lama use different strategies and skills to have no mind, no ego, no self, and use visualization of those who were teachers and leaders of a spiritual tradition called Tibetan Buddhism. Drinking coffee and MCT oil speeds up a process involving awareness, attention, concentration, and focus. However, too large amounts of caffeine can disrupt meditation and cause pain during yoga, along with dehydration and fatigue. But having a good meal after a long fast and sleep can give body and brain what's needed for these parts of consciousness now. Important when there's so much noise and screaming, yelling and suffering, confusion, hallucination, and misdirection now. Having had difficulty with PTSD when I was assaulted by an arguably pedophilic man who was darn gosh dang near a child molester in another property owned by a mental health organization I rent from now, having no other options available during a coronavirus pandemic. I often carry prayer beads and do mantra. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om. And have pictures of inspiration and motivation for when depression and negativity are all that's available and all remaining when there's no options to visit a social worker counselor, no return phone calls, and an ongoing harassment and devastating sadness for whoever listens to me now and doesn't go to a hospital to be well and strong and free, with freedom instead of confusion and delusion and insomnia and emotional misdirection now. Having learned martial arts, they're one of, and probably the best beginning other than a spiritual practice to regain concentration and focus after someone lunges towards a memory of when a stranger decided violence instead of conversation and duality instead of introduction to cause what they made as a color mood evaluated by information a government decides as more valid and beneficial for an object with climate change they call Earth. Waving their transgender and pride flag on Capitol Hill, dressing alike, in solving problems with the thinking in their head from the thoughts they have from their mind. And after visual jujitsu, verbal judo, and a loud thunder, and a long Om, there's consciousness and tasks and goals to achieve and complete. A differential equations book and a transcendental calculus book to finish. before February arrives and Sharia law gets sent from Amazon. Now,